Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa for those that are new here, and today I am filming my 30-week twin pregnancy update. It's a little bit later than I wanted to film and post the update because we had a scare on Wednesday, February 21st. I woke up and started noticing a lot more Braxton Hicks contractions than I normally do. And I had had my doctor's appointment the day before, and because of my shortening cervix, he was just saying to keep an eye on any changes that way, contractions that are more frequent, obviously my water breaking, any bleeding or cramping. So I was timing them Wednesday morning and they were happening. I think we had about 5 to 7 Braxton Hicks contractions per hour. So they were pretty frequent, more frequent than I normally experience. So I decided to call my midwife because my OB's office was closed that day and just ask her what her opinion was. She thought, you know, better safe than sorry, go to the hospital and just have them hook you up to a non-stress test and make sure everything's okay. Worst case scenario, you're admitted for monitoring. Best case scenario, it's no big deal and they'll send you home. So I was hesitant to do this because my parents were leaving for a trip the following day and I didn't want anything to happen before they were leaving because I know they would want to cancel the vacation. And I also didn't want to worry them. So I was hesitant, but I went anyway. And I called my husband, and of course he got all worried. So he decided to wrap up at work and meet me at the hospital just in case. And off to triage I went. So when I got there, they hooked me up to the non-stress tests. Babies were fine, heart rates were great. However, they did notice that my contractions were very regular, and they did start to pick up in intensity. So I wasn't in any discomfort per se, but I could definitely feel more than just a tightening stomach. Like there was some cramping involved with each contraction and a mild pain or annoyance really. So the OB on call that day came in to check me and she noticed that I was 2 centimeters dilated. So she immediately called McMaster, which is a children's hospital in Hamilton, because they specialize in twin pregnancies or high-risk pregnancies, and especially premature labor and delivery before 32 weeks. So they arranged immediately to get me in an ambulance and transfer me straight there. So I was admitted to McMaster late Wednesday afternoon, where they hooked me up to another non-stress test, and another OB came in to check me, and I was about 2.5 centimeters dilated at that point. They were feeling baby A's head, and the contractions just kept slowly picking up. So they finally hooked me up to an IV, and they just kept a really close eye on me every 3 hours. Then I had one-on-one nurse care, so that was really nice. I could ask her any questions I needed to along the way. And at about 9:30 in the evening, she noticed that things were slowly settling down a little bit, and the pressure of baby A's head sort of went away, and then the cervix was measuring at about a 2 centimeter at that point. So she decided to just keep me hooked up to the monitors for the night and let me try and get some rest, and if anything picked up, she would come in and check me again, but she didn't want to stir anything around, so she stopped checking me physically and just kept monitoring me on the monitors and based on my symptoms. So that was at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Contractions were really picking up. They gave me a big dose of Tylenol, and they put me on the little TENS machine that helps during a contraction. You just press a little button and it's like an electric little wave that's hooked up to these pads on your back. So that would just help counteract the intensity of the contractions. And then I think the Tylenol started to kick in because I stopped feeling them as intensely. and I was able to get some rest and relax a little bit. My husband and I got a little bit of sleep, and then in the morning when they came to check me again, things had really slowed down, and so they were happy to transfer me from the labor and delivery ward to just the regular pregnancy, like pre and postnatal pregnancy ward. So we were there for 2 more nights, and we were, ultrasound daily and non-stress tests daily, doctor checkups daily, and things started to pick up again Friday evening, but then by Saturday morning everything slowed down again. And when the specialist came to check me Saturday morning, they noticed that the cervix was still at a 2 centimeter, and there was no pressure from any of the babies, and the contractions were very mild and just like a Braxton Hicks, and there was no pain associated. So they were preparing to discharge me, which was super exciting because in the meantime, for those that don't know, we have a almost 2-year-old daughter. And of course, my parents had left for vacation at this point, so we had my in-laws staying at our place with her, and my brother-in-law and my husband's aunt, and everyone, of course, wanting to pitch in for help. But it was just really hard for me to be away from her, and I think the same for her to be away from me for so long, because we've never been apart for that length of time before. And it was just hard to be so far away, because the hospital's about an hour from our place. So they were going to bring her to visit me Saturday, but luckily I was able to go home. It has been so much better sleeping in my own bed and just knowing that everything has settled down and the labor has stopped miraculously. They don't know why it picked up and happened the way it did, and they also don't know why it stops. But luckily for me, it did, and I am just to stay off my feet, monitor things extra closely from here on out, and just be very careful with any changes in contractions or pain and discomfort from here on out. I have decided, both my husband and I have decided to continue care through McMaster, just given my history and the twin pregnancy being more high risk. So we have another appointment scheduled for this coming Thursday to go get checked there. And then we are almost at the 31-week mark at this point. So we're really excited to just be pregnant still. We are, taking it day by day and praying that everything continues to just stay quiet until closer to the 32-week mark at least. That's just the most beneficial time for premature babies to make it until. Anything before that is a little bit more high risk, and of course then anything after that is a bonus. So given the fact that I'm 2 centimeters dilated already, and the Braxton Hicks contractions have definitely become more frequent, I have to be very careful, but so far we are on the right track again. For the babies, baby B flipped, so he or she is now head down. Both babies are head down. On the ultrasound, they were slightly concerned about baby B's weight dropping or just not being what they thought it was in comparison to the previous ultrasounds I had had here in town. So baby A is measuring at about 3 pounds 5 ounces, and baby B is measuring at about 3 pounds 0 ounces. So we have another appointment this Thursday, and then probably another ultrasound in 2 weeks, where we'll determine if baby B is developing properly or not, and then that is usually just an indication that the placenta is not working properly. So in that case, they would have to induce me to get baby B out if he or she is not gaining the weight they need to inside my belly. So we're also hoping that that changes, and so we'll find out in 2 weeks what's going on there. As for my symptoms this week, not too much has changed. The waddling and pressure in my pelvis area now that the baby's, well, I've gained, I don't know if I told you this part, I have gained 2 more pounds I think since my last video update, or 3 more pounds since my last update. So I'm at 146 now. I've gained a total of 26 pounds. So I am definitely feeling that. I'm not terribly uncomfortable, but I've definitely got a waddle going on. I also find that because I'm doing a lot more laying down and resting, I'm losing a lot of energy and probably muscle tone already at this point. So I'm just weaker when I get up and start walking around. So that's been kind of one of the symptoms I've definitely noticed changing this week. And my OB checked my fundal height last. I was measuring at about a 35-36 centimeter fundal height, which is almost full term. So I gained about 28 pounds for my first pregnancy. So I'm 2 pounds away from being pretty much full term. I measured about 37 centimeters with our daughter's pregnancy. So it's almost like my body's way of telling me it thinks it's ready to deliver these babies because it thinks it's time to deliver these babies. She was born at 37 weeks and 2 days. And so because I'm measuring almost 37 weeks pregnant, even though I'm only 30 weeks, it's my body's just clearly not having any of it. So they think it has something to do with this shortening cervix, which is common in twin pregnancies. And so that's just sort of where we're at right now. The staff at McMaster was absolutely incredible. We were just too stressed out to take the camera out and film. So I was thinking ahead, like ideally I always said I wanted my second birth filmed, since I didn't get to watch our daughter being born since she came so quickly. She was born on the bathroom floor at home. So we didn't even have time to take out a camera, let alone film anything. So I was secretly hoping to film my next pregnancy regardless of what it was. But now that we know how stressful a situation in a hospital can be, and also how many people will be in the delivery room during this pregnancy, it's likely not going to happen. So I'll definitely be sure to film a labor and delivery story and update with you guys, but they have told us already that there will be I think close to like 15-20 people in the room when the time comes. So it's gonna be very crazy. So anyway, we will keep you guys updated, and I hope that maybe we're able to pull out the camera a little bit here and there if things are moving at a slow enough pace and they're not too scary. But otherwise, we'll just keep praying for a couple more pregnancy updates, as opposed to having to film a labor and delivery update soon. So I will give you guys a belly bump update, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to follow us along this journey. Thanks so much. Bye guys. So this is the belly bump from the front and the side, and I did measure it all the way around. And this week, I think I got a 40-inch measurement all the way. So it is definitely growing. I can feel the weight that I've put on, even though it's only a couple pounds. But yeah, so that is the 30-week pregnancy belly.